The War Council chamber smelled of burnt ozone and regret. Kalthor pressed 3 of his primary fingers against the viewing screen, watching the human fleet hold position just beyond the asteroid belt. 900 years. 900 years of carefully maintained peace, shattered in a single moment of stupidity that still made his secondary hearts ache. Commander, his tactical officer, Velrin, chittered nervously. The humans are requesting communication again. Let them wait. Kalthor's mandibles clicked in what humans would call frustration. Tell me again how this happened. Use small words this time, because apparently my previous briefing officers were infected with terminal incompetence. Velrin's scales flushed purple. Sir, Captain Gormath of the patrol vessel Crimson Dawn encountered the human research station at Epsilon Tertius. The humans were, according to his report, conducting unauthorized gravity experiments near our shipping lanes. Unauthorized? According to whom? According to, Captain Gormath's interpretation of the treaty. Kalthor made a sound like grinding metal. Gormath couldn't interpret a dinner menu without starting an interstellar incident. Continue. The human station commander refused to cease operations. She claimed the experiments were within treaty parameters, specifically subsection 47, paragraph 19, addendum C. Was she correct? Velrin consulted his datapad, all 4 eyes squinting at the display. Technically, yes. The addendum permits scientific research within 3 astronomical units of contested territory, provided advance notice is filed with the Neutral Zone Administration. And was it filed? 6 months prior. Gormath never checked the registry. Kalthor felt his blood pressure spike. Naturally. So, our brilliant captain decided to open fire, sir. He disabled their shields, boarded the station, and when the station commander, General Kira Voss, attempted to defend her crew, he shot her 17 times. She survived the first 14 shots before her medical team reached her. The chamber fell silent, except for the hum of the environmental systems. Kalthor turned slowly, all 3 of his eyes focusing on Velrin with the intensity of a plasma cutter. He shot a human. General. 17 times. Technically, 14. The last 3 were after she was already down. Oh, well, that makes it so much better. I'm sure the humans will appreciate the distinction. Kalthor's sarcasm could have melted hull plating. Please tell me she's dead. At least then we could claim battlefield miscommunication, pay reparations, and avoid total annihilation. She's alive, sir. Of course she is. Because the universe has a sense of humor, and apparently, I'm the punchline. Kalthor slumped into his command throne. Do you know what General Kira Voss is, Velrin? A human military officer? She's the human who negotiated the original peace treaty. She was 23 years old then. Do you understand what that means? She's been maintaining peace longer than most species achieve spaceflight. She personally knows 3 human presidents, holds honorary titles in 17 human nations, and once punched a diplomat who suggested preemptive strikes against our colonies. Velrin's scales went from purple to white. She punched someone for suggesting attacks against us? Yes. Because unlike Gormath, she understands that peace is profitable, war is expensive, and cooperation beats mutual destruction. She's a legend among her people. And we shot her. The communication panel beeped insistently. That'll be them again, Velrin said quietly. Should I? Put them through. Let's see how badly we've broken everything. The screen flickered, and a human appeared. Male, late 50s, with the kind of face that suggested he'd seen too much, and remembered all of it. His uniform bore insignia that Kalthor recognized, 3 stars, and a cluster of medals that probably required structural reinforcement to wear. I am General Marcus Reeves of the Terran Coalition Defense Force. I'm calling regarding the assault on Research Station Epsilon and the attempted murder of General Voss. Attempted being the operative word, Kalthor said carefully. I understand. She survived. She's in critical condition. 17 gunshot wounds, including 3 to vital organs. Her cybernetic spine was shattered. She's being kept alive by machines, and our doctors estimate she has a 30% chance of recovery. Kalthor's heart sank. General Reeves, on behalf of the Krill sovereignty, I offer my deepest apologies. This was an unauthorized action by a rogue captain who will face the harshest penalties our justice system allows. Your apologies are noted. Reeves' expression didn't change. However, the situation has evolved beyond simple diplomacy. The human population is demanding action. Kira Voss is more than a general to us. She's a symbol. She represents everything we've built over 9 centuries of peace. Your captain didn't just shoot a woman. He shot an ideal. What do your leaders want? That's the problem, Commander. Our leaders want justice, reparations, and assurances this won't happen again. Our people want blood. Reeves leaned forward. Do you know what's trending on human social networks right now? Remember, Kira. Within 6 hours of the incident, 40 billion humans had shared that phrase. We have protests outside every government building on 12 worlds. 3 colonies have already mobilized their defense forces without authorization. The peace treaty held for 900 years because people like Kira Voss made it personal. They made it matter. Now she's dying, and every human with a pulse wants someone to pay. We will surrender Captain Gormath for trial. That's a start, but it won't be enough. Reeves's jaw tightened. I need you to understand something. I served under Kira when I was a lieutenant. She taught me that wars are easy to start and impossible to end cleanly. She's spent her entire life building bridges, and in one moment of staggering idiocy, your captain burned them all. If she dies, I don't know if I can hold back what comes next. The screen flickered, and another feed appeared beside Reeves. It showed a medical bay, sterile and harsh under artificial lighting. A woman lay motionless on a bed, tubes and wires connecting her to enough machinery to run a small starship. Her skin was pale, her breathing assisted by a ventilator, but her eyes were open, alert, angry. She insisted on joining this call, Reeves said, against medical advice, but then Kira never was good at following orders. A mechanical voice emerged from the speakers, synthesized from neural readings since the general couldn't speak. Kalthor, we've met before. Geneva, the trade summit. Kalthor's memory banks retrieved the moment. 15 years ago. She'd been formidable then, sharp and witty, with a laugh that disarmed opponents faster than any weapon. I remember. You called our trade proposals, quote, highway robbery with extra steps, unquote. And you laughed. Then we negotiated something fair. The mechanical voice paused. Your captain didn't laugh. He didn't negotiate. He saw an excuse for violence and took it. That's not the Krill I've worked with for decades. It's not who we are. Then prove it. Her vital signs spiked on the monitors. Because right now, Kalthor, my people are ready to burn your empire to ash. And the only thing stopping them is me. I'm the voice saying, wait, investigate, don't rush to judgment. But I'm also lying in a hospital bed with more holes than a target dummy. So my voice doesn't carry the weight it used to. Medical staff rushed into frame, checking monitors, adjusting medications. She needs to rest, a doctor said firmly. Not yet. The mechanical voice carried an edge of steel that no amount of injury could dull. Kalthor, you have 72 hours. Deliver. Gormath. Provide full records of the incident. And give me one good reason why I should spend what might be my last days talking my species down from war instead of letting them have what they want. The screen went dark before Kalthor could respond. Belrin broke the silence first. Sir, what do? We do exactly what she asked. And we pray to whatever deities are listening that she survives, because if General Kira Voss dies, we're looking at the first human war in 9 centuries. And based on what I've read about human history, that's a war we absolutely cannot win. The humans wouldn't actually attack over one person, would they? Kalthor pulled up historical files on his display. Earth, pre-contact history. He scrolled through conflicts, reading names and dates. The Trojan War, triggered by the abduction of one woman. World War I, sparked by the assassination of one archduke. Countless revolutions ignited by the death of a single martyr. Velrin, humans don't just go to war over people. They go to war over ideas. And Kira Voss has been the idea of peace for 900 years. If that idea dies with her, nothing in the galaxy will stop what comes next. He turned to his communication officer. Get me Captain Gormath's location. Now. Sir, he's claiming asylum in the military jurisdiction of Outpost 77. Then someone at Outpost 77 is about to have a very bad day. Assemble an extraction team. Full combat authorization. If Gormath resists, they have permission to use necessary force. You're authorizing violence against one of our own officers? I'm preventing a war, Velrin. There's a difference. Kalthor stood, his full height imposing, despite the weight of responsibility crushing down on him. And send a message to the High Council. Tell them we need to convene emergency proceedings. We're going to put Gormath on trial, in public, with full human observation, complete transparency. The Council will never agree to that. They will, when I explain the alternative. Kalthor pulled up stellar maps, showing the disposition of forces. Human colonies glowed in blue across 3 spiral arms, krill territories in red. They were intermingled, interdependent, woven together by centuries of trade and cooperation. Do you see this? 900 years of integration, mixed stations, joint ventures, shared defensive pacts. We're not separate civilizations anymore. We're neighbors who've forgotten how to fight. Except they haven't forgotten. Humans wrote the manual on warfare, then filed it away because Kira Voss convinced them there was a better path. If she's gone, they'll remember everything we've all tried to forget. An alert chimed. New message from human space. Velrin's eyes widened. Sir, the human fleet is moving. 20 capital ships, escort carriers, support vessels. They're heading towards Sector 7. That's where Gormath is located. Yes, sir. How long until they arrive? 48 hours at current speed. Kalthor felt something rare for his species, genuine fear. Not for himself, but for everything they'd built. They're not coming to negotiate. They're coming to take him. By force, if necessary. Should we mobilize our defenses? And start the war ourselves? No. Kalthor made a decision that would either save or doom them all. We're going to do something unprecedented. We're going to help them. Sir? Send a priority message to the human fleet. Tell them we're extracting Gormath ourselves and will deliver him to their custody within 48 hours. Full cooperation. No delays. No bureaucracy. Just justice. Velrin's mandibles hung open. You're handing over one of our captains to humanity for judgment? I'm handing over a criminal who violated every principle we claim to stand for. There's a difference. Kalthor began issuing orders rapid fire. Tactical. I want full surveillance on Outpost 77. Intelligence. Pull every communication Gormath made in the last a month. I want to know if he was acting alone, or if this goes deeper. Medical. Coordinate with the humans. If they need anything for Voss's treatment, we provide it. No questions, no delays. The chamber erupted into controlled chaos as officers scrambled to execute his commands. Kalthor returned to the viewing screen, watching the human fleet advance like a tide of retribution. 900 years. 900 years of peace, bought with patience and compromise and the tireless efforts of people like Kira Voss. And some idiot with a gun had nearly destroyed it all in the time it took to pull a trigger 17 times. Commander, Velrin approached quietly. What if Gormath doesn't come quietly? Then he learns the same lesson humanity taught the galaxy 9 centuries ago. Kalthor's expression hardened, that some things are worth fighting for, and peace is the most valuable thing we have, even if maintaining it requires violence. The irony wasn't lost on him. Somewhere in human space, a general lay dying, and in her condition, in her pain, she was still fighting. Not against the Krill, but against the darkness in her own people that wanted revenge more than reason. Kalthor hoped he was fighting just as hard on his side, because if both of them failed, the next 900 years wouldn't be remembered for peace. They'd be remembered for the war that ended everything. His communication panel lit up. Message received from the human fleet. Put it through. General Reeves appeared again, but this time his expression had shifted slightly. Not quite trust, but something approaching respect. We received your message. My superiors are skeptical, but willing to give you the 48 hours. Don't make us regret it. You have my word, General. Captain Gormath will face justice. See that he does, because if he doesn't, Kira's voice won't be the only one calling for peace. And the other voices? They're not nearly as understanding. Reeves paused. She's awake. Again. She wanted me to tell you something. What? She said. Tell Kalthor not to screw this up. I didn't survive 17 bullets just to watch 2 civilizations destroy each other over one moron with poor impulse control. Despite everything, Kalthor felt his mandibles twitch in what might have been amusement. Tell her I have no intention of disappointing her. She's terrifying enough when healthy. I can't imagine what she'll do if she survives this, and I've failed. You really don't want to find out. Reeves almost smiled. 48 hours, Commander. The clock's ticking. The transmission ended. Kalthor looked at the countdown timer, now displayed on every screen. 47 hours, 59 minutes. 900 years of peace, hanging on 2 days of execution. Velrin, assemble the extraction team. We're going to Outpost 77 personally. Sir, that's extremely dangerous. So is letting humanity lose faith in our ability to deliver justice. Kalthor checked his sidearm, a weapon he hadn't drawn in combat for decades. Besides, if this goes wrong, I'd rather be there to fix it myself than read about the failure in casualty reports. Prepare my shuttle. We leave in 10 minutes. As his officers scrambled to comply, Kalthor took one last look at the image of General Kira Voss on her hospital bed, fighting for every breath. Hold on, he whispered to the screen. Just hold on. We're not done yet. And in the vast darkness of space between their civilizations, the human fleet continued its advance, while in hidden stations and quiet colonies, billions waited to see if peace would survive its greatest test, or if the shooting of one woman would finally light the fuse that 900 years of careful diplomacy had kept extinguished. The answer would come in 47 hours and 58 minutes, if everyone involved lived that long. The shuttle cut through space like a blade through silk, running dark to avoid detection. Kalthor watched the glued, tactical display, counting down the minutes until they reached Outpost 77. Beside him, Velrin checked weapons for the 3rd time, his scales cycling through nervous patterns of green and yellow. Stop fidgeting, Kalthor muttered. You're making the pilot nervous. The pilot should be nervous. We're about to storm a military installation and arrest a decorated captain. Decorated with what? Medals for aggressive stupidity? Kalthor adjusted his combat harness. Gormath stopped being one of ours the moment he pulled that trigger. Now he's just a problem that needs solving before it kills millions. The communication array crackled. Their intelligence officer, Mirax, appeared on screen looking like she'd aged 10 years in the past 12 hours. Commander, we've completed our analysis of Gormath's communications. You need to hear this. Go ahead. He wasn't acting alone. We found encrypted messages between him and a group calling themselves the Purity Front. They're a fringe movement that believes the peace treaty was a mistake, that humans are slowly consuming our culture and economy through integration. Kalthor felt his blood turn cold. How many members? Hard to say. Maybe a few thousand across our territory. Mostly harmless cranks, but Gormath gave them something they never had before. A martyr's cause. Worse. Proof that violence works. Within hours of shooting Voss, he was receiving messages calling him a hero, encouraging him to resist arrest, promising support if he made a stand. Mirax's expression darkened. "Commander, if we turn him into a symbol for these extremists, we'll be fighting internal terrorism while trying to prevent external war. What do you recommend?" "Fast, clean extraction. No speeches, no drama. We grab him, hand him over, and make it clear that anyone following his path ends up the same way." Publicly humiliated and broken, Velrin interrupted. "We're getting scanning resistance from Outpost 77. They've activated defensive shields. Are they insane?" Kalthor pulled up the Outpost's command roster. "Commander Thex, a career officer with an unremarkable record. Get me Thex. Now." The screen flickered, and a krill female appeared, her scales showing stress patterns. "Commander Kalthor, I must protest this intrusion into military space without proper authorization. Thex, drop the shields, and surrender Captain Gormath immediately." "I cannot do that. Captain Gormath has claimed sanctuary under Military Protection Clause 7, which entitles him to a formal review board before any arrest. That clause doesn't apply when he's committed an act of war against our treaty partners. That determination hasn't been made. Officially." Thex's voice carried the tone of someone reciting prepared arguments. "Until the High Council rules on his actions, he remains under military jurisdiction." Kalthor leaned forward, letting three eyes focus with predatory intensity. "Thex, I'm going to explain something very carefully. In 36 hours, a human battle fleet arrives at your position. They're not coming to file paperwork. They're coming to extract Gormath by force. Now you can hand him to me, and we handle this within our own system. Or you can wait for humanity to do it themselves, which will involve significantly more explosions and probably trigger the war we've been trying to avoid. Choose wisely." "I have my orders." "From whom?" Thex hesitated just long enough to confirm Kalthor's worst fears. "The Purity Front got to you," he said flatly. "What did they promise? Support for your career? Protection from human influence? Or did they just appeal to your pride, convincing you that defending Gormath was defending our sovereignty? Well, my motivations are irrelevant. I'm following proper procedure. Procedure that will get us all killed." Kalthor killed the transmission and turned to his tactical officer. "Scan the outpost. Find me every weakness in their defense grid." "Sir, if we attack, we're confirming every conspiracy theory the Purity Front spreads about military overreach. And if we don't, the humans do it for us, which confirms every conspiracy theory about human aggression. I'm choosing the option where we maintain control." Kalthor studied the schematic of Outpost 77. There, the secondary power junction. It's shielded but vulnerable to concentrated plasma fire. We knock it out. Shields drop for 30 seconds. That's our window. You're really doing this. I'm really doing this. Kalthor opened a channel to his assault team. Listen up. We're going in hard and fast. Non-lethal force only, unless absolutely necessary. Our target is Gormath, no one else. Every second we waste is a second closer to interstellar war, so we don't waste any. Understood? A chorus of acknowledgments came back. Pilot, position us for attack run. Weapons, prepare plasma bursts on my mark. The shuttle angled toward the outpost, energy building in its forward cannons. Kalthor felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders like a physical thing. This was it. The moment where peace lived or died based on his decisions. Mark! Twin plasma bolts lanced out, striking the power junction with surgical precision. The outpost's shields flickered, wavered, and collapsed. 30 seconds. The assault team launched, magnetic clamps attaching to the hull as they cut through an airlock. 20 seconds. Alarms blared across the outpost as defenders scrambled to respond. 15 seconds. Kalthor's team breached the interior, moving with practiced efficiency through corridors that suddenly seemed too narrow, too confined. 10 seconds. Weapons fire. Shouts. A defender went down with a stun blast. 5 seconds. Shields restored, just as the last team member cleared the airlock. All teams, converge on command level, Kalthor ordered, weapon drawn. Remember, we're not here to fight our own people. Disable and move forward. They pushed through the outpost like a controlled storm. Defenders, confused and outmatched, fell back or surrendered. Kalthor felt sick every time he saw another Krill in his sights, knowing that this internal conflict was exactly what the Purity Front wanted. Commander, Velrin pointed ahead. Barricade! A makeshift barrier blocked the corridor leading to command. Behind it, a dozen soldiers held position, weapons trained on Kalthor's team. This is Commander Kalthor. Stand down immediately. You're defending a war criminal, not a hero. We're defending the rule of law, someone shouted back. You can't just storm in here because the humans demand it. I'm not here because the humans demand it. I'm here because it's right. Kalthor stepped forward, deliberately lowering his weapon. Tell me something. How many of you have actually read the incident reports? Do you know what Gormath did? Silence. He boarded a research station conducting legal experiments. When their commander presented the proper authorization, he shot her. 17 times. She was unarmed. She was complying with treaty regulations. And he shot her, because he decided his interpretation of the rules mattered more than reality. Kalthor's voice carried down the corridor. That's not defending sovereignty. That's murder hiding behind a uniform. Now move aside, or history will remember you as the fools who started a war to protect a killer. One of the defenders, a young soldier with barely faded juvenile scales, lowered her weapon. Is that true? The general was unarmed? Completely. The station security footage shows everything. Gormath never even asked questions. He just started shooting the moment she tried to explain the situation. Another defender wavered, then another. Don't listen to him. A different voice, older and harsh. This is exactly what they want, to divide us, make us doubt ourselves while humanity positions for conquest. Conquest? Kalthor laughed, but there was no humor in it. If humans wanted conquest, we'd have been conquered 900 years ago. They had superior weapons, larger fleets, and every advantage. Instead, they chose peace. They chose cooperation. And people like Kira Voss spent their entire lives maintaining that choice, even when extremists on both sides tried to undermine it. Gormath didn't defend us. He betrayed everything the treaty represents. The barricade shifted. Defenders looked at each other, doubt spreading like cracks in armor. Last chance, Kalthor said quietly. Stand down, or force me to remove you. Either way, I'm getting Gormath. But I'd rather not add more casualties to his list of crimes. The young soldier who spoke first stepped away from the barricade. I didn't sign up to defend murderers. I'm out. 2 more followed. Then 5. Within seconds, only 3 defenders remained, and even they looked uncertain. This isn't over, the harsh voice said. The Purity Front will remember this betrayal. Good, Kalthor replied. Let them remember that when they chose violence over justice, they lost. Now move. The barricade collapsed. Kalthor's team pushed through to the command level, where they found Commander Thex standing outside a sealed door, her hand on a control panel. Don't do it, Kalthor warned. Whatever they told you, whatever you think you're protecting, it's not worth this. He's inside, Thex said, her voice hollow. Safe room. Military grade. You'll never breach it in time. Then, I guess we do this the hard way, Kalthor signaled to his demolitions expert. How long to crack that door? 4 hours, minimum, without risking everyone inside. We don't have 4 hours. Kalthor activated his communication array. Gormath, I know you can hear me. Come out now, and you get a fair trial. Stay in there, and the humans breach this station in 35 hours. They won't bother with doors. They'll just depressurize this entire section and drag you out of the wreckage. No response. Think about it. You've seen human determination. General Voss is lying in a hospital bed with 17 holes in her, and she's still fighting. What do you think her people will do when they get their hands on you? At least with us, you get due process. With them, you get justice. There's a difference, and it's not in your favor. The door remained sealed. Velrin approached quietly. Sir, message from human space. General Voss's condition has deteriorated. The doctors are saying she may not last another day. Kalthor felt something snap inside him. 900 years. All those years of careful diplomacy, of building trust and maintaining peace. All hanging on the life of one stubborn human who refused to die and one coward who refused to face consequences. Fine, he said, voice flat and cold. We do this the hard way. Patch me through to the human fleet. General Reeves appeared on screen, and his expression told Kalthor everything he needed to know. She's fading fast, Commander. My superiors are asking if they should accelerate their approach. Tell them no. I have Gormath cornered, but he's barricaded in a military safe room. I need cutting equipment that won't risk killing him in the breach. Can you provide it? Reeves' eyebrows rose. You want human help extracting him? I want this done right. Pride doesn't matter anymore. Getting him to trial does. Kalthor took a breath. General, if Kira Voss dies before we resolve this, what happens? I don't know if I can hold them back. There are already unauthorized mobilizations happening. Colonial defense forces ignoring recall orders. Civilian ships arming themselves. It's like watching a countdown to something terrible, and the clock's moving faster than we can stop it. Then we stop the clock. Kalthor made a decision. I'm transmitting the coordinates of this outpost. Send a team with breaching equipment. We go in together. Joint operation. Let your people see that we're serious about justice, and let mine see that. Cooperation still works. You're inviting human soldiers into your military installation to arrest one of your own officers. I'm inviting allies to help solve a mutual problem. That's what the treaty was always about, wasn't it? Working together instead of against each other? Reeves studied him for a long moment. Kira would like that. Assuming she's still conscious when this is over. Our team will arrive in 8 hours. Don't start without us. The transmission ended. Thex stared at Kalthor like he'd grown extra limbs. You just invited humans here, to our outpost. Do you understand what message that sends to the Purity Front? It sends the message that their ideology is garbage, and we're not afraid to prove it. Kalthor settled in to wait. Everyone take positions. We're securing this corridor until our reinforcements arrive. No one in or out. And someone get me a status update on Voss's condition every hour. If she dies before we finish this, I want to know immediately, so we can all prepare for the end of civilization. The hours crawled past like wounded animals. 3 hours in, Kalthor received word that riots had broken out on 3 human colonies. Pro-war demonstrations with millions of participants. The images showed crowds carrying signs, chanting slogans, demanding action. 5 hours in, Mirax reported that Purity Front communications were spiking across Krill networks. They were calling Kalthor a traitor, claiming he'd sold out their species for human approval. Recruitment messages flooded every channel. 7 hours in, medical updates showed Voss's vitals dropping. Doctors were running out of options. Her body, tough as it was, could only survive so much trauma. She's not going to make it. Velrin said quietly. "We're watching the countdown to war, and there's nothing we can do." "We can finish our job," Kalthor replied. "That's what soldiers do. We finish the job." 8 hours and 12 minutes after his call with Reeves, scanners detected an unvented, approaching vessel. Human military configuration, moving fast but not aggressively. It docked with the outpost's main airlock, and within minutes, a team of human soldiers entered the station. They moved differently than Krill, Kalthor noted. More fluid, more adaptable. Evolution on a high-gravity world had made them compact and efficient. Their leader, a woman with captain's insignia and eyes that had seen combat, approached with weapon lowered but ready. "Captain Elena Foster," she introduced herself. "I understand we have a door problem. Reinforced military safe room. Our equipment would take too long or risk the target." "Not a problem," Foster gestured, and her team brought forward equipment that looked disturbingly advanced. Quantum resonance cutter. Slices through hull plating like it's not even there, but harmless to organic tissue. "We developed it for hostage situations. Never thought I'd use it for this." "How long?" 20 minutes, give or take. Then your boy gets to explain himself to everyone he's hurt." They set up the equipment, while both teams maintained perimeter security. Kalthor watched humans and Krill working side by side, the cooperation so natural it felt like proof that Gormath's ideology was fundamentally wrong. The cutting began, and within 15 minutes, a perfect circle appeared in the safe room door. It fell inward with a metallic clang that seemed to echo through the entire outpost. Gormath sat inside, weapon drawn, scales showing patterns of fear and defiance mixed together. "Stay back. I'm authorized to use deadly force in self-defense." Kalthor stepped through the breach, deliberately keeping his weapon holstered. "Captain Gormath, you are under arrest for violation of treaty protocols, assault with intent to kill, and conduct unbecoming an officer. You can surrender peacefully, or we'll take you by force. Either way, you're coming out of there." "I was defending our sovereignty. You were defending your ego. There's a difference." Kalthor approached slowly, carefully. "It's over, Gormath. The whole galaxy knows what you did. The footage is everywhere. You can't spin this into heroism. You shot an unarmed woman 17 times because she had paperwork proving you were wrong. That's not defense. That's cowardice. The humans are conquering us through integration. Someone had to take a stand. And look how well that worked. You didn't stop anything. You just gave both our species a reason to remember why they stopped trusting each other." Kalthor was close now, within arm's reach. "But here's the thing, Gormath. I'm not going to let you destroy 900 years of peace. I'm not going to let your fear and stupidity ignite a war that will kill billions. So, you're going to surrender, face trial, and accept responsibility for your actions. Because that's what actual honor looks like." For a moment, Gormath's weapon wavered. Then, his scales hardened into patterns of resolve, and Kalthor knew what came next. Gormath's finger tightened on the trigger. Captain Foster moved faster than Kalthor's eyes could track. One moment, she was 5 meters away. The next, she'd tackled Gormath, her augmented strength overwhelming his resistance. The weapon clattered away, and within seconds, restraints secured his limbs. "Clear," Foster announced. "Subject secured, no casualties." Kalthor exhaled a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. "Thank you, Captain." "Don't thank me yet. We still have to survive the trip back." Foster hauled Gormath to his feet with casual efficiency. "Come on, hero. Time to face the music." They moved through the outpost with Gormath between them, humans and Krill alike, forming an honor guard that felt more like a funeral procession. Defenders who'd tried to protect him earlier now looked away in shame. As they reached the docking bay, Kalthor's communication array lit up with an urgent signal. "Commander." Mirax's voice carried something that might have been hope. "Medical update from human space. General Voss regained consciousness. Her doctors say she's stable. Not out of danger, but stable. The relief hit like a physical wave. Did you hear that? Kalthor addressed the assembled soldiers, both species. General Voss is alive, which means we still have time. Time to prove that justice works. Time to show that cooperation is stronger than conflict. Time to finish what we started 900 years ago. He turned to Gormath, who hung defeated in Foster's grip. You wanted to be remembered, Captain. Congratulations. History will remember you as the idiot who nearly destroyed everything and failed because people from both our species chose peace over your violence. I hope it was worth it. Gormath said nothing. They loaded him onto the human transport, with Kalthor and a Krill's security detail joining them. Joint custody, joint trial, joint proof that the treaty meant something. As the transport departed, heading toward neutral space, where the tribunal would convene, Kalthor looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, billions of beings waited to see if peace would survive. Somewhere, General Kira Voss fought for every breath, her body broken but her will unshaken. Somewhere, the Purity Front plotted and schemed, looking for new ways to spread their poison. But here, in this moment, on this ship, humans and Krill worked together. Not because they had to, because they chose to. Because 900 years of peace had taught them something that extremists could never understand. That cooperation wasn't weakness, it was strength. That justice wasn't surrender, it was civilization. That peace wasn't the absence of conflict. It was the daily choice to resolve differences without violence. Velrin approached quietly. Sir, message from the High Council. They're furious about you inviting humans to arrest Gormath. They're calling for your resignation. Let them call. I'll answer after the trial. Kalthor allowed himself a small smile. Besides, I have a feeling General Voss will have something to say about anyone trying to punish cooperation. And nobody argues with Kira Voss and wins. I should know. I tried once. What happened? She bought me dinner and explained exactly why I was wrong. By dessert, I was agreeing with her. By the time we finished drinks, I was wondering why I ever thought differently. Kalthor's expression softened. That's her real power, Velrin. Not military strength, not political influence, just the absolute certainty that working together beats tearing each other apart. She makes you believe it. And once you believe it, you can't go back. Do you think the peace will survive? I think it already has. Gormath tried to kill it with 17 bullets, and it's still here. The Purity Front tried to use him as a weapon, and they failed. People on both sides tried to use Voss's injuries as justification for war, and she's literally fighting them from a hospital bed. Kalthor looked at the stars again. 900 years, Velrin. That's not just time. That's generations of people who've never known war. That's families with members from both species. That's shared dreams and mutual investments and friendships that cross the divide Gormath tried to widen. You can't kill that with violence. You can only strengthen it. I hope you're right. So do I. Because if I'm wrong, we just delayed the inevitable instead of preventing it. The transport continued its journey, carrying a prisoner who represented everything wrong with both their species, guarded by soldiers who represented everything right. And on a hospital bed somewhere in human space, General Kira Voss opened her eyes one more time, checked the news feeds showing Gormath's arrest, and allowed herself a smile that hurt every broken rib, but felt worth it anyway. She'd survived 17 bullets. The peace would survive too, because that's what they did. That's what they'd always done. They survived. They adapted. And they chose each other over the darkness. 900 years and counting.